Welcome to the Northern Counties East League podcast. I'm Richard Watts. I'm now joined by League General Manager Matt Jones.
Okay, so welcome to the Northern Counties East League podcast again. It's the first one we've done for 2 weeks. Of both myself and Richard were away on holiday. Before the rumours start, it wasn't together, so we'll scotch those rumours straight away. Saturday sees the FA Cup preliminary round. That's a terrible mouthful to say. Preliminary round. We've got 11 teams taking part in this round on Saturday or over the weekend, and that's the most we've had in there since 2019. So best effort for 5 years. I'd like to wish good luck to all the teams taking part. Had a look at the early league tables. We've got 10% of all our league fixtures completed now, which 3 weeks into the season is quite decent. In the Premier Division, we've got Hallam, top of the table, 4 games played, 3 wins and a draw. No real surprise, I don't think. They've got a really strong squad this year. People always tip Hallam to be up and around. They never quite seem to get over the line. So is this going to be the year for Hallam? It's looking promising at the minute. Second place, we've got Golkey United. Again, put a really good squad together in the summer. Got a 100% record after 3 games. Penistone Church, 3 wins from 4. Again, pushing potential playoffs, possible promotion, winning side. Good side. At the other end of the table, we've got Campion, Goole and Beverley Town still looking for their first points of the season. And I think particular surprise there, Campion beating playoff team last year, playing playoff semi-finalists, haven't really got going this year yet. And I think a lot of people tipped Beverley Town to have a good season after winning the playoffs from Division 1 last year, expecting them to kick on and maybe challenge at the top end of the Premier Division. And at the moment, it's not happened. Suffered a 4-0 defeat at home to Handsworth in midweek. And they'll be hoping to kickstart their season soon. They've got the squad there, I think, to see them rise the table pretty quickly. In Division 1, Wombwell Town and Horbury Town, the early pace setters, both got 100% records after 4 games. Again, I don't think that'll be a surprise to anybody who saw either of those teams last year. They were pushing towards the top half of the table all season. We're seeing solid starts by Brigtown and Armthorpe Welfare. And Armthorpe have actually scored as many goals already in the first 3 weeks of the season as they had by December last year. So it's massive improvement from Armthorpe. Another team to mention, Swallownest. Swallownest struggled all year last year, finished second from bottom. We're expecting to be relegated. Reprieved by the FA, and I spoke to them in the summer and said, you've been given a reprieve that you weren't expecting. You've got to take advantage of it. And they said to me, we will. And they've got 8 points from the first 4 games. They only got 16 points all last season, so massive improvement from them. Well done to them. Newcomers, Dearn and District are doing well, pushing into the playoff positions. Really solid start by them. And bit of a surprise at the other end of the table, we've got Nostell Miners Welfare, played 4 and lost 4, so still looking for their first points of the season. We wish them well at the weekend.
I'm now joined by Phil Withers, who's looking at an NCEL season from the past.
Hello. We continue our review of the history of the Northern Counties East League by looking at the NCEL 7th season, 1988-89. The league continued with the 3 divisions from the previous season, that's Premier, 1 and 2. The Premier Division consisted of the same 17 clubs from the previous season. Emily retained the Premier Division title, 8 points clear of runners-up Hatfield Main. Ironically, Hatfield was the only team to beat Emily in the league, doing so twice. Emily's reward for taking the title was promotion to the Northern Premier League. Ossett Albion, for the 2nd season running, finished bottom. Division 1 was comprised of the 14 teams from the previous season's Division 1, plus Collingham and Pickering Town, who were promoted from Division 2. The division was won by Sheffield, who were 8 points ahead of runners-up Rowntree Mackintosh, also the previous season's running up. Sheffield's title win saw them promoted to the Premier Division. Division 2 featured 12 of the previous season's clubs, plus Stronfield United, who had been relegated from Division 1 at the end of the previous season. Brodsworth for newcomers. Ossett Town took the title, 8 points clear of runners-up Liversedge. Fryston finished bottom. The League Cup, for once, was an all-Premier Division affair, with Bridlington Town beating Emley 3-1 at Pontefract Collieries. The Premier Division top scorer was Ian Noakman of Guisey with 20 goals. In Division 1, I.C. Hutchinson of Maltby Miners Welfare led the way with 25, whilst P. Collier of Selby topped the Division 2, also with 21 goals. In the various national and local cups, North Ferriby United reached the semi-final of the FA Vase, losing to Tamworth after winning the first leg at Tamworth. Bridlington Town and Emley reached the third qualifying round of the FA Cup. Bridlington won the East Riding County Cup, Emley the Sheffield Senior Cup, and Pontefract Collieries won the NCE Floodlit competition.
There's news of a change of ground for Wakefield, and I'm joined by our resident Wakefield man, Si Boyle, to tell us about it. Can you start by giving us a sort of like a rundown of Wakefield's history ground-wise?
Yeah, well, thank you for having us on to discuss this. Yeah, our first ground was at Cudworth, which is near Barnsley, the Dorothy Hyman Stadium. That's where we first started back in 2019. When we had back then, there was 2 seasons which were cut short because of the COVID pandemic, so they're not actually on record. That first formative season, especially, but that's where we first played. That's where the club was formed, playing out of. We then moved to Featherstone Rovers after that first season and played out of their ground for 2 years. The latter of which is on record as our first full season, winning the Sheffield and Hallamshire County Senior Premier League at the first attempt, essentially. And then we managed to get a move to Wakefield itself, which was always the aim for the club, was to play in Wakefield, and still is, and to move to Wakefield Trinity's rugby ground. And we moved there after our first season in the NCEL, and stayed there for a season until the move now back to Featherstone, pretty much early in the season that we're in. So yeah, we're back at Featherstone, outside of Wakefield, which hasn't always gone down well with some fans, but a lot of other fans feel like we're more at home there. So the aim is still to play in Wakefield. I know that from the club. We do want to get back into playing in Wakefield at some point, but that'll be when we can probably get our own ground, if we can get some land for that.
Far out of Wakefield is Featherstone?
It's about a 15-minute drive. It's not massively far. I mean, when we've had discussions on our fan group about it, and some people have been saying, "Oh, it's too far." And I mean, there's a short train ride, there's bus rides there, and there's plenty of people that do lift share, so that's not too much of the problem. And there are other clubs that kind of do the same thing. I was looking even in our division, Louth don't play in Louth. I mean, I use that as an example because they also play. Yeah. Is it Saltburn? I think they play. So it's there's a trip there. It's still within the Wakefield region. It's classed as Wakefield district. It might not be in the city of Wakefield, but it's still Wakefield. And unfortunately, when there isn't at this point in time land to build our own ground, you go where you can, and it's still the same club. It's still the same team. It just isn't as local as we hoped it would be. But I've got fond memories of being back at Featherstone the first time round, because obviously it's like we won the league there, and that was where the team really kind of picked up its fan base for me. So I do like being back there. A lot of the fans do enjoy the match day experience more there.
Right. And does this sort of like last for a couple of years? Have you got a sort of like a long-term agreement on this?
Yeah, the announcement that came out said it was for the remainder of this season and for next season. Nice. That was on there was 2 statements put out by the club. The first one was announcing that for the remainder of the season, the football would be relocating away from Wakefield Trinity. So that was like a joint statement with Wakefield Trinity to cover that part. And then the second statement was about this agreement to play at Featherstone. certainly for those 2 years. Whether it extends beyond that, if we need to, I don't know. I don't know what the ins and outs would be, but certainly it's in their statement from the club. It said it would be for this season and for next season. To try and establish, build the community as well in Featherstone for sport and using their facility for that. I know that's something they're very keen on in rugby league, isn't it? Is using these grounds for community sport other than rugby league.
And how do the facilities compare to the two grounds?
I'd say it's actually better at Featherstone just because we were very limited in what we had this season, especially at Wakefield Trinity, whereas we were only allowed to use half of one stand,
Right.
and there was very limited food and drink available. There was a bar, but there wasn't burgers and hot dogs and chips and all the rest of the stuff that you can get at Featherstone, because they've got a great little cabin there outside in the concourse called the Street Kitchen. So there is a better overall experience, I think, there, just because it's geared up more for it. I think it was very difficult. I mean, I think it was one of the videos where Joseph Skelton, who does the match days videos, went to a match at Trinity, and there wasn't any sort of like hot food offerings or anything like that, and he got like a sausage roll and a couple of drinks, and it was like £9 or something. So I think it's more reasonable where we are as well.
How does it work? You literally take over the shell of a ground, and the whole sort of match day thing run by Wakefield people or other Featherstone people involved in
Most,
the.
I'd say mostly. I think there are still Featherstone people, the management on hand, because they run the bar. There's the catering that's done as well by the outside, the caterers that I say that do the burger van and what have you. But in terms of coming through the gate, that's Wakefield volunteers. The guy that does the announcements, Wakefield volunteers. The people running the match, sorting out the officials and what have you, that's all Wakefield volunteers. But there is someone from Featherstone there for any issues that may occur, which we had on Tuesday for our first match there. Unfortunately, one of the floodlights in the corner wasn't working, so we had to sort that out. So we had a bit of a delay at half time while they tried to get that fixed. So luckily there was someone on hand to try and help arrange to cover issues like that.
So was your attendance what you would have expected for this first game back?
Difficult to say for the first one because it was very fresh off the back of the change. I mean, in fact, everyone was expecting to go to the Wakefield Trinity ground when the announcement came out. This one's been changed, because I think it was only a few days before. So, A, it was only a late change. B, it was also a League Cup match, and they tend to sometimes be a little on the low side. So I think in 2 or 3 weeks, then we'll kind of see where we settle and how it compares. I think we will probably drop a few that only went because it was local in Wakefield, and probably there were Trinity fans that would just go and watch football there because they watch rugby there. So we might drop a few fans that way. We might gain a few from football being back at Featherstone who came to the games before. So I think it's a bit swings and roundabouts on that front. I dare say it'll be a few weeks before we know, because we're away this weekend. Next weekend we have our last match at Wakefield Trinity. Actually, we do have one more match there because I think the Millennium Stadium that we're using is in use. So we do have the FA Vars match there, and after that's it then. And the next match after that is actually, I think, Horbury in the derby at Featherstone. So that should be quite a crowd for that one, I would have thought. And that's a Tuesday night football game, is that one? So nice floodlit match to bring the fans in.
Oh, that's good.
But
Yeah.
no, I do like it there, and everyone who went for the first time said they enjoyed it. Those of us that have been there before, just it felt like coming home, really. And yeah, still sat in the same seat that I did when we were there before, and all the people that we were usually sat with were all in the little pockets where they were before. Everyone just went back to where they were the first time we were there.
Is there much difference between the two playing surfaces?
I think there is. I've heard that they've improved the surface at Featherstone. It does. A lot of fans did seem to criticise that previously, so I think they have upgraded that. It's never going to be the same sort of surface as they've got at Wakefield Trinity, because they've obviously got one of these hybrid pitches, which is the equivalent of what they've got at Manchester City's training centre. It's that five. I think it's called like 5G. It's a hybrid of the plastic pitch and the grass. So it's never going to be that good because it's a proper turf pitch. We'll see how it holds up in winter, but apparently they've made some upgrades to that. I think they've improved the dressing rooms from what I've heard as well, and things like that. So the facilities are better than the last time we were there as well. So yeah, and this as well, I think, has helped secure the club in a better position financially going forward for the next couple of years. And now it's just about trying to find some land in the Wakefield area to build our own ground. If we can do that, that's the next step of our growth that we're aiming for. Obviously, a lot of this information I'm just going from the statements we've had. It's and it's based on my opinions. It's not officially from the club as such.
Next up, NCEL talk. I'll hand straight over to host Aaron Walton.
Okay. Good evening, gentlemen. I've got my usual gang with me. I've got Bob and I've got Si. Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening. Good evening.
Good evening.
Hello. So what we'll do is we'll go through our usual fixtures and hopefully we can get through them. So let's have a look. So we'll have a look at Saturday's fixtures. And Barton, they had a good 3-1 win against Beverley. That was a real good win for Barton. A good crowd there, over 300. They played well, Barton. They're doing all right. Eccleshill beat Tadcaster 4-1. So that was a good result for Eccleshill. Golker keep up their really good form, beating Rossington 4-2. 259 there as well. Good crowd. The good people of Golker get behind the team. But the game of the must be the game of the weekend was Handsworth versus Hallam, the Steel City Derby. 474 there, and Hallam 5-1 winners at Handsworth. Well done to Hallam.
Yeah, they're looking strong as Hallam out this season.
Well, yeah, really are. And I'm so pleased for Craig Denton because he's such a good manager. And what makes it even better, he's a nice fella. So that's good. Knaresborough 1, Penistone 3. Penistone are back on it. And Winterton beat Parkgate 1-0. So well done to Winterton for getting off the up and running. Have I missed any, Bob?
Yeah, you have actually. Friday. We had 2 matches on the Friday night, didn't we?
We did, and I haven't put them down, so I knew you'd do it. So put me out my misery, Bob. What was the games?
Bottisford had a good win, 2-1 against Albion Sports. So Bottisford have started well as Bottisford this season. But the game of the night was Silsden Thackley. I think they call it a Bradford derby, don't they?
Yeah,
Silsden went out 3-0 winners and a crowd of 453. So that was good for.
And we talked about Friday night football.
We talked about Friday night football, but there's the evidence, isn't it?
Well, yeah. Let's hope our game, Bob Barton versus Goal, gets a few there.
Yes, hope so.
Friday night game, and I'm forfeiting my rugby to come to the football.
Oh, well done.
So there you go. I've talked my lad out of going to the rugby, so we're coming to the football. So let's get on to Saturday's Division 1 games then. I've got Appleby Frodingham 0, Brig 5. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. Yes,
it is. It is. Yes. Yeah.
And
hat-trick for Joshua Batty in that one.
Well, Josh is on 10 goals already this season for Cup and League. He's on fire, the man. Oh, absolutely on fire. He was at Beverley last season. I know Josh. He played for Barton as well. Good lad. When he's on form, he's on form. So I've seen him score some really good goals. I've seen him miss them as well, and he'll tell you he's missed them. But I thought he played really well at Beverley last season. So well done, Josh. Top of the goal scorers. Armthorpe 4, Athersley 0. Is it Durnan District 1, Wombwell 2? Wombwell keeping up the pressure. And let's get on to the game of the day. Dronfield 0, Wakefield 1. Well done. We're up and running. So, what was it like?
Yes,
Yeah, sorry, was it a good game?
I actually missed that one, so I can't give you any opinion. I've seen the goal, and it came
Yeah,
very, very late. Obviously, it was Morgan James on 90 minutes
90 minutes.
getting us
Yeah,
the win.
yeah,
In fact, it was past that. Um,
yeah,
our guy John that does the online commentary
yeah.
just to keep the fans updated had already kind of typed into his phone ready for full time that it was
Nil
about to
nil.
be a 0-0
Uh,
and
and
safe
the
journey home,
score.
everyone. And he
Yeah,
scores the winner, so
yeah,
that's it.
mate. Well,
So
John,
yeah,
you're a bit. Yeah,
good
John's a
to
bit
get
like
three
them
points on
people.
the board.
You exit. Well done. John's a bit like them people that go before the final whistle.
No, but it was that late that I think it was just
Yeah,
about getting ready to do
yeah.
that part and send it. And it was
So
good to get the 3 points on the board. And hopefully that kickstarts the season now.
I'm sure it will. Yeah, I'm
That's
sure
the
it
Hopefully,
best
will.
fingers
time.
crossed.
That's
You've
Yes,
the
got
best
Bob.
ground
time.
to make up. Ground to
That's the
make
best
up. You mean?
time. Sorry, I'm going to say that's the best time to score, though, isn't it? The 90 plus minutes doesn't give
I
time
do
for
enjoy
nothing.
those ones. I'm gutted
Yeah,
I missed that one because we had a couple last season where we scored like in 90th minute, and yeah, it's one of the best
Yeah,
feelings in football, isn't it? As long as
it
it's not
is.
like a consolation goal.
Well, we'll come to that for Tuesday night. Anyway, Clastownton 1, Swallownest 2. Swallownest. What a turnaround for Swallownest. They're doing so well, aren't they?
8 points from
Re-
4 games. In fact, Armthorpe
really,
as well, 9 points now. I mean, you mentioned them earlier.
yeah,
They've seemed
yeah.
to start the season really strong as well.
Haven't they just? Haven't they just? And so two teams what struggled last season are doing really well. So well done to them. Harrogate Railway 1, South Leeds 4. So South Leeds getting used to the league now. That's a good away win at Harrogate Rail. Never an easy place to go. Horbury. Well, we've said it time and time again. They had a poor start last season, but ended really well. Now they're starting really well, aren't they? So
Yeah,
obviously none of them have gone on holiday. They've just carried on from last season, and they put Shelley to the sword 3-0. So well done, Horbury.
actually,
Ilkley, yeah,
going back to Horbury, obviously that's 4 wins from 4 for them, putting them top.
yeah, yeah.
Obviously, Wakefield have been struggling. Horbury's got 4 Wakefield players now because Billy Moore signed for him in midweek.
Yeah. Oh, I see.
So now they've
Yeah.
obviously got Jock Kerr and Brad Swain, Josh Craig, and Billy Mole there that have been
Oh,
quite good for us in the past. And
yeah.
I've got to give a quick shout out since I've got a
Yeah.
privileged position here. Isaac Donlan, who came on for his debut, it's my boss's nephew. He came on as a substitute in the 90th minute and got a goal. So a quick
Wow.
shout out for him to get the third goal. Cherry on the cake for him, but scoring on his
Well done.
debut.
Well done, Isaac. And to come on with that late and score, that's brilliant. Well done. So, Ilkley, as I said, they're finding the feet now. They beat Selby 3-1 and Louth beat Nostell 4-1. So, and then there was a game abandoned, wasn't there?
there was.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened there.
This is where we get the ooh noises, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, it's got a bit quiet. Yeah, I mean, it must have been, I don't know, I want there. It must have been bad for a manager to take his team off. I think that's what happened, didn't it?
Yeah,
So,
I read what had happened.
yeah.
Obviously, I'm not going to repeat it on here.
No.
But yeah, and I think this is the sort of stance that's got to be taken because it's the only thing
Yeah.
that's going to actually, as I said in a post in a discussion about it in the midweek, while racism exists in the world, it's never going to be out of football. Do you know what I mean? It's a part,
Yeah.
but the more that clubs do things like that, the more chance we've got of highlighting it and stamping it out, and people will then
Absolutely.
realise that it's not acceptable at football.
Yeah, it's just not acceptable. No, whether you're saying it, you shouldn't be saying it full stop. I mean, it's just not on, not in this day and age. We don't need it. We don't want it. We don't want it in our game. We don't want it in any game, and we don't want it in society. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
So that's that. Anyway, let's hope
it even got tweeted by Sky Sports as well that the game abandoned.
Right, all right. So it's got some gravitas with Sky Sports.
Yeah.
So, but let's hope it gets sorted out and sorted out.
Do you think it'll get replayed because it was 90 plus 5 minutes? Do you think it'll, or will it leave the result at 1-0?
Ooh, I don't know. What do you think? I think common sense.
Common sense to me would think that's it to make it 1-0, leave the result as it is. But
Yeah.
Depends on the rule book, doesn't it? I don't know what the actual rule is on that. I dare say there is something in writing that says whether they have to replay it or not.
Yeah, part 6A of replayed matches, probably. So
it doesn't say, result declared, does it? It says abandoned whatsoever at the time. So I'd expect a replay personally, but I don't know.
It'd be interesting to see what the West Riding come up with,
Yeah, it would be. Yeah. I know they're your favourite. They're your favourite people, Bob. We'll leave it at that. So if we
for the moment, yes, we'll leave it at that for the moment.
Right. Well, what we'll do is we'll go on to the midweek games, which for me were frustrating. So we'll start with Beverley Town. They're struggling a little bit to keep up with the pace of the game. Really, they went down 4-0 at home to a good Handsworth team. But look at that, 350 there at the Norwood. They're getting behind them, aren't they? I think Beverley will find the feet, and Dave Ricardo's got plenty of experience, so I'm sure Beverley will start playing. They've 1 or 2 injuries, 1 or 2 players are leaving. I see McFadden, who played really well for them last season. He's emigrated to Australia, so they've lost a good player in McFadden. James Pearcey, he's a little on Saturday. He had a little bit of a clash with Scott Phillips, and Scott Phillips did the centre forward tackle. It was just a bit of a rough tackle, not very good, but there was no malice in it. It was a centre forwards tackle, and James come off worse really, and his knees all swollen up. So hopefully James Pearcey will get back within a few weeks. So they're just struggling a little bit with injuries. I think they've got 1 or 2 players in. They've got Tom Davey in. I think we all know Big Tom, don't we? Tom Davey, he'll give you 45 minutes of football. Decent player, lots of experience. So Bottisford, we'll go to the Bottisford game. I'm trying to sort of go past that. They beat Barton 3-1. I'll tell you what, Bottisford, good team. Really good team. We worked quite on it, I've got to admit. We worked quite on it. We had 3 missing, no excuse. Players came in, chance to shine. It was one of them games, you've had lots of them, Bob, I know, where the 50-50, you get the ball, then it bounces slightly wrong, and then you miss it, and then there's a foot in. They took the goals well. The first goal, cut inside, top corner, no chance. Second goal, Fraser Papperell slipped, centre forward straight in on goal and scores. And the third one, which was most galling, somebody scored from a corner, header, beat a few of our lads. Then Tom Warby scored a lovely goal to finish with. But can't take anything away from Bottisford. They played really well. Any team that Mike Thompson manages should be good. They've got a lot of good young lads in there. They were very unlucky in a lot of games last season, and I think they'll be up there, which they are this season. So well done, Bottisford. Campion, not quite clicking, are they, at the moment? Lost 2-1 to Golker. Golker doing really well.
Yeah,
and then another game. Hallam 3-0 against Parkgate. 500 souls there. What a game. Brilliant. Well done, Hallam. So they're on fire. Battle of North Yorkshire, Pickering 3, Knaresborough 3. 6-goal thriller. We'll gloss over Rossington, shall we?
Well, I've got to be honest. Adam did a YouTube blog, and he was correct. It was fair comment. We just were not on it on the night. We never. I don't think we really troubled their keeper as such. And their number 9. I made Manas Kianga. Every time he came forward, he tore into our defence, and he looked really dangerous. I thought he was the man of the match for me.
Kianga, man of the match. Well, I won't worry too much because you're playing us soon, Bob. So you usually beat Bart at our place. I was
just going to say that I can apologise to Adam. I didn't realise he was there, and I get so, yeah. I didn't realise he was there, and I get so engrossed in the match, and so I was going to apologise to tonight, but he's not in on this, so I do apologise, Adam. So
we'll still apologise for you, Adam, for Bob completely missing you.
So he might because we're losing 5-0. He wants to ignore me.
So that was good. We'll gloss over it. Stilsden 0, Albion 0. That's a good point for Albion, really, at Stilsden, because they're going really well. Tadcaster, looks like the wheels have come off a little bit after a good start. Losing 3-1 to Frickley. 230 there at Taddy, though. Well done. And Thackley beat Eccleshill with 304 at Thackley. 1-0 at Eccleshill. I watched the goals, and by heck, Thackley's gram looks good under the lights. So well done, Thackley. 304 there. Let's have a look at midweek for the First Division. Clubthorne put up Frodingham to the sword, 3-1. And Selby, who did Selby beat 3-0? Louth. Yeah, can't read my own writing. So if you look at the league...
Yeah, Clubthorne, as you said, they've had a good start, haven't they? First
they've had a very good start, yeah. They've got a few players in there with quite a bit of experience. They've got a good keeper, Charlie Dixon, really good keeper. If we look at the Hallam, top of the pops, four games, 10 points. Golker, 3 games, 9 points. And then you've got 3 teams on 4 games and 7 points. Silsden, Bottisford and Thackley. So I think Bottisford, for me at the moment, I know Hallam are doing really well, but Bottisford for me, I would say August's team of the month at the moment. So, and then you've got 3 teams, not on any points. Campion played 2, no points. Beverley played 3 and no points. And I'm not saying the last one.
In our defence, we played all our games away. I'll say that.
You have, yeah, you have. And according to you, Bob, your keeper's been man of the match a few times as well.
Oh, yeah.
Their keeper.
Yeah, their keeper. In the Parkgate and Penistone, we both played them away. They both got man of the match.
Yeah,
But for us on Tuesday night, I would have thought Joe Wilton, our keeper, because he made some good, outstanding saves.
I love Joe Wilton. What a good keeper Joe is. He's been a really good keeper. I've known Joe for quite a few years. Good keeper.
But with some of the 4th and 5th goals, he had no chance because, he was well beat. So,
right.
We move on. That's all we can do.
That's all you can do, Bob. It's a long season. Anyway, Division 1, we've got Horbury as Si intimated, 4 games, 12 points. Wombwell as well, 4 games and 12 points. Armthorpe, as Si said, have made a real good start. 4 games and 9 points. Ilkley, 4 games and 9 points. And my team, I don't know about you guys, probably the team of the month for August is Swallow Nest. What a turnaround. But, I say Armthorpe and Swallow Nest. What a turnaround from them 2 teams. What do you think, Si?
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. If you look at the table last season, they've hit the ground running. It's interesting to see how long they can hold on for with that, and if they can put a real run together.
Well, I hope they do.
You look a bit further down, you see like Brigg, hopefully ourselves, maybe Harrogate, South Leeds look like, but do you know what I mean? So there's a few teams that have still got to get their seasons going. But they've both hit the ground running and really doing well. And it's definitely chased the leaders with Horbury and Woodwell. Yeah,
it is, isn't it? Yeah. So that's sort of looking at the games there. Now, we've got the FA Cup, haven't we, on some of us, the FA Cup. Gould, you've got Melton Town.
Yes. Well, Melton Town are known as the Pot Pie Army. Because the famous Melton Mowbray pie. We've never played Melton before, so it'd be interesting. But they play in the same league as Lincoln, who we beat away last time.
United Counties, isn't it? Yeah.
United Counties, that's right. Well, they were a good start to the season. They played 4 games, 1-2, drawn 2.
Yeah.
They won 5-1 away on Tuesday night and won at home 6-4 on the Saturday. So plenty of goals in their game.
I saw them last season, Bob, against Winterton. Yeah, in the I can't remember if it was FA. I think it was FA Cup, and they look quite good. They look fit and fast. So,
we need to improve 100%, really.
I've got a pound in my pocket on you. So,
but you never know. Football's a funny game. After that, the guys want to bounce back, and you never know. It's the magic of the FA Cup.
It is. It's the same for Barton as well, because we lost. We just didn't play very well on Tuesday night, but never mind. Anyway, Borough Rangers versus Tadcaster. Borough Rangers from Middlesbrough, NL1. They're quite a new team, formed in 2003. So good little. It was not a far trip for Tadcaster actually. Bottisford and Winterton, Lincolnshire derby.
Yeah,
wow, tough. It'll be tough for Winterton, and there's a few battles there because there's a lot of ex Bottisford played and Winterton players who played for either team and so on and so forth. So I think Bottisford are playing very well, but Winterton, the wily old dogs of Winterton. So that'll be a good game, Bob, won't it?
It will be. It'll be a cracker, that one. Yeah,
that will be.
It should be a good crowd. Should be a good crowd.
And definitely, and another good crowd will be at Golka versus Thackley, because Golka are in absolutely electric form at the moment, aren't they?
They are, yes, playing well. Yeah.
Mossley versus Eccleshill, the Lily Whites from Greater Manchester. They're playing the Northern Premier League. It'll be a tough ask for Eccleshill, but they've started a bit better than they did last season. We go to probably the longest name in English football. Northampton, old Northamptonians, Chinex FC from Northampton playing Barton Town. As we chatted before, it's like a sort of old grammar school team, and Chinex, it's not a foreign name or anything like that. It's some of the letters joined together from the houses at the grammar school. So Chipsey, Spencer, Beckett, and St Crispin, they make up the word Chinex. So there we go. So it's a long journey for us. It's I think it's going to be played at Wellingborough Town's ground though, so it's not actually at the.
Do you have a bus going or?
We have a bus going, yes. So I shall be on that if I can get there on time. So it'll be a great trip down, and it'll be a better trip back home if we win.
Yeah, well, that's when we went to Lincoln with a bus, and it's a great day out. But when you win, it's even greater on the way back.
It's even better, isn't it? Yeah. Stilsden, they've got a good tie against Atherton Collieries. Greater Manchester Atherton, isn't it? They were relegated last season. They're in the NPL West. So Campion, AFC Liverpool, they're playing. So I've seen AFC Liverpool. We've played Barton Town, have played them before. I think if Campion are on some decent form, and they're struggling at the moment, they should beat AFC Liverpool. And then a really good tie. Our cup team, it's Hallam, isn't it? They're playing Charnock Richard from it's a village just outside of Chorley. Hallam are going really well. Charnock Richard are a good cup team. Have you ever been to the ground, guys, at Charnock Richard?
No, I haven't. No.
It's a really nice ground. And then the view you get is of a couple of really old mill houses. And they've all been done up and they look brilliant from a distance. So that's the cup games. Div 1. What games have we got in Division 1?
Just flash. You want to do the Premier? There's 2 games in the Prem, isn't there?
There is 2 games in the Prem, Bob. Go on then. Who are they?
Frickley and Albion Sports.
Oh, tough one.
Yeah, and Parkgate and Penistone. Well, we played both them teams away.
Wow.
But I've noticed that Ross Duggan has re-signed to Parkgate. Back from Oxford. So that's a boost for Parkgate. He was there top scorer.
Yeah. He's a very good player, is Ross Duggan.
Well, we saw him at Scunthorpe, didn't we? He was outstanding at Scunthorpe.
He was once for Parkgate. So that's a feather in the cap for Parkgate. So
he's definitely a handful.
Oh, he is, isn't he? Good player. So we've got that Premier done. So Division 1, let's go on to Division 1. Who we got playing on Saturday?
Well, looking at the table, the tie of the round, really, you wouldn't have said it probably at the start of the season, is Horbury Swallownest.
Wow.
Because Swallownest are actually in form, obviously 8 points from 4 games. Horbury 4 wins from 4 games. So something's got to give there.
It has.
That you wouldn't have thought that was a top of the table clash, but it's up there now.
I think that'll be a good measuring stick for seeing how Swallownest have improved.
Definitely, that's going to be the litmus test for them, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. So good luck to Swallownest. And who else have we got?
Well, I thought a good Doncaster derby. I thought Club Thorn. That'll be a good Doncaster.
Yeah, it will. There'll be a few there, hopefully.
So that's Yes.
So both teams about mid. Athersley and Brigg, both teams just outside the sort of top 5 at the moment.
There's a trip to Barnsley for Brigg, And
We've
Josh
got to
back.
trip up the A1 to Harrogate. Wakefield are going to Harrogate.
Are you going, Si?
Hopefully, yes.
Oh, good.
Hoping to, yeah.
You've been to Harrogate Railways ground before, haven't you?
I have. It's a nice ground, is that? I do like it.
I like it. Yeah, the clubhouse is on the corner, isn't it?
Yeah, elevated as well. You can kind of look.
Yeah, it is.
It's on the first floor.
It's at Starbeck in Harrogate. It's not far from Knaresborough, really. It's only across the railway lines, and then you're there.
It's nearer to Knaresborough than Harrogate, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. When I go through Knaresborough to get to Harrogate because it's that close. But that'll be a good game for you, just to see how you've sort of bedded in a bit, haven't you? Now you've got Wakefield have got the win, and it's I know we've done a piece, but it's I bet it's nice to be back at Featherstone.
Yeah, I was discussing it with Richard earlier, and it definitely is. It has good memories there for a lot of us anyway from our Sheffield and Hallamshire days.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was just a really. We went back there for the cup match on Tuesday, and it was just a really nice atmosphere, and felt like sort of going home, putting on a pair of comfy slippers and settling back into your spot.
Yeah. I mean, for our standard of football, it's probably the best ground in the league, I would have thought.
Yeah, but I suppose the same for between Wakefield Trinity, where we were playing before, Featherstone Rose, where we are now, and maybe looking at. I saw Adam's video at South Leeds. Is out now as well. So the first look at Hunslet's sort of stadium there at South Leeds, and that looks like a nice place as well. So
it's good. It's just got the one massive stand,
and then the running track sort of puts the pitch further away from you, which I always like. I like being close to a pitch. The one thing that's why I really enjoy non-league football, because you can stand in most cases like right next to the pitch, so you can't get that there, can you? But yeah, it looks like a nice place.
It's not bad. I've spent many a windy afternoon taking students there to get them through the sports courses. So it brings back some memories there. So who else have we got? Have we got any more games to look out for in that league?
We've got not still York Championshires. York Championshires had a good win the other night, didn't they? In the was it the League Cup?
League Cup, yeah, we haven't covered that, have we? But they've done well, haven't they? And how did you get on in the League Cup with Wakefield side?
Solid win on Tuesday night, for that one. 4-1, I think it was. 4-2, sorry, not 4-2.
Who was it against?
Yeah, but I'd say we probably had the first 80 minutes of that game, or not the first 80 minutes. Out of the 80 minutes, it was just a little bit end at first half where we seemed to switch off and they pulled two back on us. But second half was more like the old Wakefield like we used to play, and especially being back at Featherstone had the great atmosphere, and I think that helped as well.
So hopefully Wakefield are back on track.
Well, I'm hoping so, but I'm a glass half full kind of guy.
I'm a glass half empty, I'm afraid. So we've virtually covered everything. There's a couple of things if we've got time. If we can get through. Here's one for you, gent. As somebody quite said, do we think the league would be better front filling fixtures while the weather's better? E.g., Saturday, Tuesday for a couple of months. What do we think to that?
What I couldn't understand, we played on the first game of the season, I think it was the 27th. Then the following Tuesday, Wednesday, we didn't have any midweek games, but Division 1 did. Division 1 did. I thought that was a bit strange, really. Why play it while we can, At
the end of the day, when it comes to the end of the season, we're doing that anyway and playing catch up. Or if in the likes of Parkgate last season, you're playing Saturday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. So it does make more sense to try and do it a bit earlier because you know that you're going to be there, unless something really freaky happens in January to March and we have really inclement weather and we don't get wet pitches. It's always going to slow down and have postponements. So the more you can get ahead of it now, I would think would give us that chance. But at the same time, at the moment, it's difficult, I dare say, for them to do that because they've got a lot of cup matches.
Yeah, the front
you've got your
cup
FA,
matches,
you've got your VARs, you've got your League Cups, where by the time you get to December, for example, a lot of these teams will be out of those, so it's easier to probably schedule it then.
I mean, the pros are you get the games in while the weather's good, and the cons are, I think, like you say, there's the cup games, too many games maybe for players' welfare, injuries, fatigue early on in the season. They're maybe not as fit as they would have been. There's also, you've got players unavailable as well, haven't you? Through holidays and one thing and another. And more importantly, Bob, you've got fans, supporters, and volunteers unavailable sometimes as well, haven't you? Because we have to go on holiday, don't we?
We do, yes, actually. Yeah, we do, yeah.
You can go in the off season. That's what the off season's for. That's why we're all supposed to go in the off season. We're supposed to be back for August.
Too expensive, Si. So I've got a family who don't like camping, so we have to go in a hotel, and it costs too much. So I've got them to go. I've got them to go in a caravan, so we're a bit better, but they're getting expensive now, aren't they? So I think it's a good idea, but it's a difficult one, isn't it? There's only so many like days in the year type of thing. So
yeah, well, let's hope we don't have such a wet winter like we had last year, because that's. Did you get any work done? Did you get any work done at the Barton ground? Any drainage?
Yeah, they've not got the drainage in yet because they're messing about. And it's not Barton messing about. It's they're going to have to jump through hoops to get this done and that done. And they've done a lot of preparation work on it. When you come on the Friday to see, you'll see it's a lovely surface. But the trouble is, if it chucks it down with rain, it holds the water. So everything's ready for the drainage. It's just having the time to do it now.
Right.
So it's going to be another season. So fingers crossed it doesn't, because when games are off, it affects everything. It affects the crowd. It affects the how we play.
You do the programs as well, and it's called off 24 hours beforehand. You've got all the programs,
Well, we don't do them now, Bob. It's all gone digital.
Oh, that's gone digital.
I know it's gone digital. Well, the only programs we do are for the cups. I know, Bob.
You cannot beat a physical program in your hand.
Nine out of 10 non-league supporters would say that, but unfortunately, the big wigs think that's progress, and sometimes progress isn't always a good thing.
But it's part of the match day experience, isn't it?
It is. But the trouble is, Bob, if we're not careful, we get called dinosaurs, don't we? Because we're living in the past. However, I'm on your side, Bob. I'm on your side. I think,
I'm old school. I like to have a program and read about it afterwards, and when you get home later.
Of course you do, and that's the football experience, isn't it? I mean, not every ground has boards like we do at Barton with the handwritten things on it and the logos.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Oh yeah, there's ups and downs, isn't there? I know what you're saying.
Yeah. So you can always take a photograph of one of my boards, Bob. They're always specially done for every team. Every team has a different logo.
Free of charge.
Free of charge. We'll be putting Vinny the Viking on for you. Can you remember Vinny the Viking?
I can remember the Viking, yeah. I wonder what happened to Vinny. I think the Viking boat must have sunk sometime in the past.
It must have done, yeah. But we can reignite Vinny the Viking for you on our team boards for you. So I think we've just about covered everything, haven't we? Have we got anything else to say? I
can just say on our VPG renovations. We're still
we want to know.
We're just still waiting to hear anything. We're not hearing anything from the council, so nothing's happened as yet. And so we was told it was going to be March, then it was going to be June, then it was going to be July, then it was going to be end of July. And today, 15th of August, and nothing's happened. So
nothing happened. Our Gould put in the rugby league club. Are they putting something in to go into one of the rugby leagues, so to speak?
Oh yeah. There is. See, at the moment you've got Gould Rugby League, the amateurs, and they're playing on. They play LS, which is next on the 31st. But a chap wants to put a professional team in for rugby league, and he's applied for the championship. Yeah. When I looked at that league and the championship, I mean, there's teams in there that play. There's Cornwall playing. If I'm looking at the right things, Cornwall and Cumbria. Well, I'm thinking to myself, you'll need plenty of money really to fund a team like that to go all the way to Cornwall and Cumbria.
Yeah, and then I don't. Then
but I think it all depends on the VPG renovations being done, But as I say, at the moment, it's all gone quiet for me. And the thing is, when I go around with sponsors and I get a sponsors for the hospitality box, I can say to them, I'm saying to them, well, this is what we have, but because I understand they're going to put alternative arrangements in, like away and home dressing rooms and alternative hospitality and bar, but nothing is, So, but I don't know what that's going to look like at the moment,
Yeah. I mean, we've all seen the pictures. That it looks brilliant, but
yeah,
you just have to wait and see. Because I think Gould does need. It needs an up-to-date.
Oh, it does, yeah, absolutely,
facilities for the town. I mean, the town, it's a bit massive town, and it deserves better facilities. I mean, I do like going to Gould, I must admit. It reminds me of the old East German Oberleague ground with the running track round it, on the stands. Yeah. It's great.
Well, that's a talking point with the athletics.
Yeah, I know. There's another sore point, isn't it, do you, mate?
Yeah. So it has ups and downs, So, but we'll see. But the leisure centre, they're doing the leisure centre in Gould, upgrading that, but that's got behind schedule. So I just think it's probably just got behind schedule with things. I reckon there's a lot of hoops to jump over, and but we'll see.
That's it for this edition. If you've got any news for the podcast or you'd like to appear on the podcast, please email ncelpodcast@gmail.com. Thanks for listening.